The time has come. We're going to be unveiling our top 10 rap songs of 2025. We do this every single year, and make sure to smash that notification bell so you guys don't miss any of their other end of the year content from our top 10 albums, our award show, and much more. And let's get into this, bro. How difficult or easy was it to make this list? And by the way, guys, let us know in the comments, what's your number one song of the year?
What a year for songs, actually. I will say this. We've often complained about how maybe slow 2025 was, but I feel like especially for this year, there was a couple of albums I was going through, and it's like, do I include 3 to 4 songs off of this track list? Do I go to this track list and include maybe 5 songs off of here? I feel like there was multiple albums this year where I had like 2 to 3 songs that were in contention to make my list. And when we did our list back in the month of July, we had a run of albums that came out after that list.
Right after.
We didn't include any material off of those albums. For example, Let God Sort 'Em Out, whether it was Jid God Does Like Ugly. I feel like now looking at my list, it's very different than what I had back in July. So I guess that's going to be a great surprise for you guys. But Lou, how did you curate your list this year?
The best songs of the year, bro. As simple as that. It's really as simple as that. I don't have to give you a fluffy explanation. But let me ask you this. Did you limit yourself to one artist rule?
No.
One song per artist? No.
I couldn't do it this year.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it this year, and it was going to be hard to do because if I would have taken that approach, then I don't think my list would have really reflected what the top 10 songs of the year were. So,
yeah, for sure.
Shall we do this? Number 10?
Number 10, I have Pour the Henny by Mobb Deep featuring Nas here.
Number 10, I have No More Old Men by Chance the Rapper off of Starline. Great selection. Didn't crack my list, though.
Okay.
Almost did. It's going to be an honorable mention, though. But speak to me about the song.
Yeah, I mean, this would have been the most fitting way, in my opinion, to end the actual Infinite album, and also to have been the farewell track from Mobb Deep, the perfect send-off for Prodigy. Havoc starts off the song. You're getting this dope multi-syllabic rhyme scheme, and he also cooked on the production, coming in with this operatic vocal sample, the dark keys, the boom bap drums. This really felt like an old Mobb Deep song. It took me back to the 90s and 2000s, and they really recaptured that energy, especially while collaborating with Nas. But I think the real selling point of this song for me was that Prodigy verse and the way that it felt like it was made in heaven, bro, with lyrics like, I lived a full life, don't cry for me, a real king of New York, the top of the heap, when the sun goes down, yeah, the moon shine for me. Like, this really hit me in my feels as someone that's respected Prodigy's journey, and beautifully written. And then you have Nas, who comes in with the best verse he's had all year, in my opinion, rapping effortlessly, flexing his verbiage, how rich his lyrical offerings are and have been throughout his career. And I just love the style, the cadence, and how he pays homage to P in such a beautiful way. Couldn't have asked for better, especially when it comes to that Legend Has It series. This was the song that I wanted to represent that.
Very great selection. Very great, Luca.
No more
Good
old
job.
men, Anthony.
No More Old Men. I think it's one of the most interesting song concepts of 2025, and Chance sort of feels this frustration towards the older generation, whether it's politics, music industry execs, influencers and celebrities, like gatekeeping their power and sort of blocking opportunity for the younger generation. And, you know, you hear it from Woods off of The Hook. No more old men running the show. Make room for the young ones to grow. And the concept of this record is so interesting because you get Chance that sounds like he's angry, but he's also like accepting and understands the sort of situation that a lot of like the younger generations are in. And it speaks to a lot of like young people that feel like, fuck, we're getting our opportunities blocked from these older industry execs or these older politicians that don't want to see us strive. And you see that really prominently within the first verse, where he speaks about the label execs hoarding the power and, you know, talking about how, you know, they're sort of scared of, you know, new technology and the new ways of formatting your art, for example. Then when you go into, you know, verse 2, Chance takes the liberty to like sort of speak about how things will get better, and that, you know, even in the church, you'll see like, let's say, pastors gatekeeping knowledge and gatekeeping the sort of like power for the younger generation to come up and improve. Even from a production standpoint, I feel like this is a really rich production. One of my favorite beats off of Starline. You get this beautiful choir backing. You get these, you know, funky horns that come in and out of the production. It really feels like one of those strong cuts for me this year. So when I look at it across the board, you get a perfect feature from Woods that plays into the chorus of the song and that plays into the theme of the song. A wonderful production all the way throughout,
Yeah.
and one of the most interesting song concepts of the year.
I think that was the situation with Starline. Like, maybe not one of the very best albums of 2025, but some of the best highlights, bro. Like, song for song, when you look at songs like Letters, No More Old Men, etc., like, the highs are fucking solid. But
And this is why it made my top 10 of the year
and
list,
it's on
right?
my number 9.
There
Number
you go.
9, No More Old Men by Chance the Rapper featuring Jamila Woods.
Number
There you
9,
go.
Friendly Hallucinations by Mac Miller. This was a song that made my top 10 songs of the year so far list back in the month of July. So speak to me about No More Old Men.
Yeah, you did a great job of explaining it, and I think that what you could add to it also is that there is mention of Larry Hoover when he's talking about, like, you know, there's no the old man won't be here anymore. Like, the idea of, you know, trying to fight for the injustices, the fact that Larry Hoover should be freed. But what really gets me is that second verse where Chance is just spitting wisdom, bro, giving you those 4 commandments about, like, your health being your wealth and delivering every single bar with so much passion. I think that this song showcases Chance's best qualities, bro. Him being this illustrative writer, him being a dynamic artist when it comes to even him contributing to the hook on this song. I loved his backing vocals, which complemented Jamila so well on here. Just his conscious mind and his ability to put together an amazing composition and have the right ear for that. Production is stunning. I love the keys. I love the dramatic but chill atmosphere, and even those sweeping violins that come in at the end.
There's so many instrumentals that went into this, bro. Like,
Yeah.
it feels like a whole composition, and it's incredible that someone that's often seen as maybe like an old head rapper, right? Oh, well, Chance was prominent in the 2010s. Like, he took the liberty of being like the voice for the youth. You know, I feel like it's interesting because not a lot of mainstream rappers have attacked this subject yet, and the fact that he was able to put all of this rich knowledge into one song definitely deserves a placement on both of our
Yeah,
lists.
he's spreading positivity, and it's a song that's musically powerful. I'm just happy that we've reached the point in 2025 where Chance the Rapper is dropping one of the best songs of the year. Like, people wouldn't have predicted this.
But this
I
was
feel
an
like.
undeniable song. Even after our live album reaction, we spoke about it extensively in our
yeah.
album review for it.
No,
and we were
I'm just
floored
saying.
by it,
I'm
right?
saying after the run that Chance had been on, it's cool that now he's at a point where he's dropping some of the best songs of the year.
Yeah,
but
and you knew that after even like the highs and the lows back in 2022 that he was in his best form artistically and that he was going to deliver you a great studio album experience. Shout out to Chance the Rapper. But speaking about Friendly Hallucinations,
why is it the best off of Balloonerism for you?
I just feel like it has everything going for it as far as like a complete record goes. So the Big Daddy Kane sample going throughout it, the Thundercat bass, the production to me is one of the most interesting off of that entire album. And Balloonerism is an interesting album because of its concept, right? You get Mac Miller in this super, I would say, weird space where he's battling with addiction, he's battling with substance abuse, and those themes are super prominent within the songwriting of this song, right? Especially in the verse 1 where he's talking about how he lost his innocence to drugs and how it slowly crept into his life. Then talking about the substance cycle, right? Like medicine cabinet habit, you know, the isolation that comes with it. I feel like it really, it might be relatable to a lot of people that are going through this type of thing and, you know, kind of being in this weird place and cycle where you might not know how to break out of it. And I feel like it's also a cry for help at the same time off of Balloonerism from Mac Miller. And the more and more I listen to this song, the more and more things I pick up
Yeah,
off
and
of it, right?
it's crazy how much of a companion piece this feels like to a Faces. Like the themes are really parallel to each other, and there's so many cuts like this off of that album.
And then you go on to verse 2, right? And now Mac Miller kind of flips the switch where he starts talking about like unconditional love and how that kind of like low-key plays into his drug addiction. And I think that all of the parallels into the song and into the writing just make it for one of the best pieces off of Balloonerism. And also like looking at this bridge, bro, having conversations with Friendly Hallucinations, it's a beautiful hazy way to kind of sort of like segue out of the song. And I also feel like the role that it plays on Balloonerism is that it shows Mac at his most vulnerable throughout the entire album. Just even the SZA backing vocals on this hook, bro, are fucking incredible. So I think it's the total package off as far as like a cut goes when it comes to Balloonerism. So.
Well, speaking of Balloonerism, my number 8, we're on the same fucking path, it seems like, a few placements away. Number 8, Miss Deborah Downer.
I knew
Mac
you were going to
Miller
bring this in because
off
this
of
was one of
Balloonerism.
your selections off of the
Halfway
previous list.
But it was between this and Funny Papers. Those to me are like hands down the two best on the
Yeah.
album. What's your number 8?
Number 8 of Blue by JID off of God Does Like Ugly.
Okay.
That's going to be my number 8 selection.
Yeah,
So-
I'll keep going with the Balloonerism talk. So this is a hard listen. It's one of those Mac Miller songs that, you know, knowing how his story tragically ended, it's tough to get through. And it feels like you're listening to a friend of yours struggle with substance abuse issues and experience a feeling of being lost after the feeling of that high goes away. That's really what he tried to capture with this song. And I think what's really riveting about the track too is just the idea that he's going into how he's lost some of the people closest to him because of these issues. Like when he says, my best friend packed his things, threw him in the car. I haven't seen him since. Guess I understand. He always got the chills when he saw a room full of rolled up $100 bills. I mean, insane. For him to just be this brutally honest, bro, about these drug-infused confessions and these really serious situations. Like, I feel like most artists would be afraid to be this vulnerable on a record, and Mac Miller never shied away from that type of subject matter. And he also has a soulful hook, which he sings beautifully. Even pills turn to powder, baby. And there's euphoria, there's there's sadness, like there's a bunch of emotions that he's bringing into this one performance. It's fucking super powerful. And on the outro, Mac Miller's talking to himself, and again, a very authentic, genuine way, wondering like, what am I gonna do when the money slows up? How am I gonna continue to fund this addiction? Very dark song, but incredibly produced. Even Thundercat on this bass line, bro. This song, I also love it because it's ambient jazz vibes, bro. If you know ambient jazz, this production kind of plays into that genre. So,
what a creative space he was in while creating this track list, man.
Very, very strong stuff.
Yeah, but going on to number 8, Of Blue by JID. I could have gone with On McAfee. Like, that was another conversation for me because I was saying, well, what am I going to leave off, and then what am I bringing in? But Of Blue was my final decision. I think it's the centerpiece of the album, to be honest with you, because looking at the writing of this album, there's a lot of great cuts, but this one hit home for me because, again, JID is sort of tackling this concept of artistic growth and finding yourself as an artist in this world. And you see that off of the first verse where he talks about like even struggling with substance addiction, his insecurity. And then after that, you're getting all of the biblical references within the first verse. Then you go on to verse 2, and now things get a bit more optimistic, right? Where he starts talking about resilience, family, you know, the concept of bondage, encourages that family like dynamic is super important to not only your personal growth but to your artistic growth. Then in verse 3 starts talking about how like he has faith in the hood and that, you know, life goes into cycles. It's just this beautiful song about growth and introspectiveness, and I felt like this was a very mature piece for JID's catalog, especially from 2025. And when you look at all the types of different instrumentals that you're getting throughout this mixed in with the mariba hook, oh my goodness,
different
bro.
instruments, yeah.
Yeah, like there's different phases
different
of the
instrumentals. Oh, okay, you're
the
different beats
within
okay.
the same song itself. You're getting these transitions.
It's 2 beats, right?
Yes,
in total, yeah.
You're getting like 2 different beats that come in and out, and as the song goes on, it kind of gets a bit brighter, and I feel like that plays into the themes of the song itself. So I found it to be one of the best one of the best cuts off of God Does Like Ugly. It's a lock for my top 10 songs of the year.
Great pick. Number 7. This is where I have Free by Little Sims.
I have Free by Little Sims at number 7. We've done a great job in the past of explaining this song concept, but, you know, Sims takes the liberty of having verse 1 kind of her describing what love means to her.
And then her own imperfections and
exactly.
shit.
And then number 2 being the concept of fear and how you could grow from fear and how you should embrace fear and how you could use it as a tool to move your own life. It's an incredible song concept.
Yeah, and the idea of like putting fear to the side to experience freedom. I think that's really the major takeaway. And what's really special too, I found, was her last verse when she uses free from the vocal sample as the end rhyme for each line, and just the cool interplay between her and the sample, the same way she did that on I Love You, I Hate You off of Simbi. Just a great musical sort of tactic that she uses.
It's an incredible accomplishment for her discography, dude. Like, even in the verse 2, like, a message that really like resonated with me was just the pursuit of perfection and how like fear kind of plays into that. And that how, like, if you're kind of chasing perfection at the end of the day, you'll always feel lost and fearful because you don't even know what you're chasing at the end of the day. So be free, move with open thought, and just enjoy life while you do it. I love the concept of this song.
And the production, too. I feel like I'm fucking isolated on a beach somewhere. It's so calming. The orchestral strings.
The acoustic
guitar, too.
Such a nice element to this song.
Beautiful song. That's number 7. Number 6. This is where I have my only song from God Does Like Ugly, and it's Community featuring Clipse. I think
What
this
a
is the
great
best
pick,
song.
wonderful pick. I think you could have gone with that on McAfee. Like those are the strongest cuts off of this album. Number 6, How to Impress God by Saba and No ID, off of from the collection of Saba and No ID. So speak to me about Community, man. Do it, bro.
Put a bullet in Bob the fucking Builder. Amazing. I love that.
It's such a
I love
vicious
it.
performance from everyone on this song, bro.
Absolutely. And, that's something that was interesting about my first experience with the song was that I always felt like the first half of that verse, during that first listen, I'm like, this is Marco Plus, bro. This is not Jid, because we had never heard him ever sound as aggressive as he did on a song like Community. And that's why it was like an immediate standout for me. I'm like, I'm getting a performance from one of my favorite artists, unlike anything I've ever heard from him. And that really blew me away. You're getting 3 different vocal tones from Jid throughout the song. It's a dynamic and empowering performance. He's rapping about how nobody could really fuck with him. And also speaking about just experiences in the projects and growing up in the projects. And that becomes the theme that he and Clipse can relate to together on this track. You're getting Pusha T, who brings in the slow and steady flow, bro. The delivery, the conviction behind the delivery is incredible. It's immaculate. I brought white to my hood. Shit, I gentrified. Again, while sticking to that topic of the dangers of the hood. And then you get Malice's wordplay, where he starts detailing everyday experiences in the hood. He goes into like the man at the house law, putting in musical references of artist names, of song titles, like When Kings Can't Raise a Young Prince, The Doves Cry Here. The whole rhyme scheme is one of the best I've heard all year long. Also love the backing vocals from the choir on this song, the guitar strings that drive the beat. Just such a dope song. And second best collaboration of the year. There's one that's better than this to me, but one of the best collabs, and one that kind of hit me unexpectedly. I'm like, bro, this is something I never knew I needed. Jid and Clipse, say less.
Wonderful song. But How to Impress God by Saba and No ID. The song concept is genius. Again, kind of like a free, where I kind of marvel at the writing, and I ask, how does an artist even achieve like this type of like artistic feat, right? Like I can never think about writing something like this. I guess that's why I'm not an artist. But the song concept is interesting because starts off with the hook and the refrain, and within that, Saba is sort of speaking about all the types of different things that he's accomplished within his career. He's sort of like self-gloating to a certain extent. He talks about the jewels, the cars, the independence he built, all the financial freedom that he built up for his family. Then in the first verse, you get God's perspective that's played by Saba, and he's like, I'm not impressed by these things. You didn't have to do these things to seem like a sort of perfect child in my eyes. And I found that to be interesting because it kind of plays on the concept of free, where it's like you'll never achieve freedom or peace by chasing these things, even no matter how much you put into your career or what you achieve after. And then in verse 2, you get the trials as sort of like these tests, right? Where God sends obstacles, and he sort of sends him these sort of tests to see how solid are you, what have you really grown by, and what are you really doing in your life to be like, okay, I'm at the top and the pinnacle. And I think it's interesting as a song concept too, because Saba's always been very introspective, and he's always left his heart out on every single song that he's put out almost. And with this, it's like God never even wanted that from him. He's always loved him, and I think that's the concept of the song. It's like you cannot impress God because he's already impressed. You're a gift of his.
Well, I kind of view it differently. I think it's more about like, we put a lot of importance in today's society on like some superficial shit, right? Wealth, fame. And I feel like Saba is recognizing that like, no, like when it comes to the values instilled within me and what I think God expects of me, it's to be a good human being. It's not about being at the top of the pinnacle and like being this guy who's, loaded with money and all this shit. I feel like that's what he was getting to, but yeah, the concept is genius.
You see, like I get what you're saying, but also when you get to the second verse, I was kind of reading it too, like Saba sort of stops to listen. Like it almost sounds like he's a bit frustrated within like his hook, and even if with the first portion of the song, then God comes in, he's questioning all these things that he feels like are accomplishments to him, and then God sort of like doubles back on that on the second verse, and now Saba seems more inclined to listen to him because there's a sort of like pain, I feel like, from Saba, where he almost feels that he's done everything he can to impress God, but he never feels like he had the approval from him. But at the end of the song, it comes down to that. But nonetheless, it's a very layered song. It's very technical. Take the time to listen to it if you have not already. One of the best songs of the year. But all right, number 5.
Top 5. the big boys now.
Yeah, this is where you're going to
This
see
is where
some
it gets
placements.
serious. Number 5 is going to be Chains and Whips by Clipse.
Number 5, Mar-a-Lago by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. Had to do it. It was going to be a lock, bro. It's one of my favorite songs of the year.
There you go. So yeah, let me talk about Chains and Whips. One of the coldest and most intimidating productions all year. The kick drums feel like and sound like a knock on the door. You're getting the slick bass line. You're getting Lenny Kravitz on the electric guitar. These crazy key sample from a 1960s TV show. You cannot find me a beat that sounds like this in 2025.
No,
it
you
doesn't
can't.
exist. It doesn't exist. Pusha T on this song has a killer performance. He is talking to Jim Jones' soul on his verse. He sounds like the fucking Grim Reaper, bro. There to snatch any bit of dignity that Jim Jones has left from Pusha T's perspective, bringing up how his house got repoed and how he's doing reality TV to pay the bills. It is brutal, bro.
And
It's a brutal verse,
and you
bro.
know what? It actually plays into the title of the song too for Jim Jones. And I feel like, I actually let me just save it, bro. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna save it.
Fair enough. But yeah, I even love the NPR performance where he's looking directly into the camera. Like, again, snatching his soul while he's doing it. Malice has a killer verse making slick references to The Wire and The Revenant while still putting pressure on his enemies with lines like, "You're gasping for air now, it's beautiful." And then obviously Kendrick Lamar rivaling Pusha and Malice for having the best verse on the whole song. Feels like another nostalgia moment for him where it's super technical. The rhyme scheme with the whole gen prefix that he uses for the whole verse is mind-blowing. It's fucking genius. A verse that's lyrically and technically insane. And you're getting another villainous verse from Dot where he's saying he'll fuck anybody up. He's talking to Drake. He's talking to Kanye. He's talking to other rappers and people that he sees as Judases. And again, one of those songs that leaves your jaw to the floor, bro. It's one of those.
It's
and
definitely
this
one of
could
those.
have gone higher, but the competition is so strong from 5-1 for me. But
Yeah.
talk to me about your Mar-a-Lago pick.
Just an insane cut, bro, off of Alfredo too that I gravitated towards instantly. The way that he starts off the chorus talking about like federal surveillance and the all black whips, like I knew what type of timing Freddie was gonna be on when it came to this song, straight off of hearing the chorus at first. And it's interesting because kind of like what Pusha, Clipse, and Kendrick did on Chains and Whips, Freddie did this towards his ops as well, right? Talking about how like no one gets free passes with him and he's gonna remember you for what you did to him. And I find that to be such a menacing aspect of this song. It's incredible, bro. He's obviously talking about the street life and, you know, him Lincoln dodging potholes like they're feds, right? And I thought that was a cool like reference and that was a cool one-liner. But some of my favorite bars of the year, so the sports references on here, look past the hole like I'm magic behind the pass like Patrick, paying homage to Patrick Ewing and Magic Johnson. Found that a cool double entendre there, and they're within the same line. After that, lies about reconciliation. I'm going to shoot. One day we could patch it up. Shit, I'm lying. Talks about how one day I might fuck with you and we might kind of patch things up, but fuck it, just know I could switch on my word on a dime. Plays into like that evil Freddie Gibbs that we love when it comes to like these dark beats from The Alchemist. Also, this bar was cool. Guys writing checks with their mouth, but one day they gotta cash it, bro. So Freddie calling out his guys and saying, hey, you could talk all of this shit online, but when I'm going to meet you in person, you got to cash in that check because I'm here and I'm going to make sure you cash it. It's just Freddie at his most braggadocious within this album, and it feels like he's unstoppable. He's a boss. He's a cocaine lord, and no one could fuck with him. Not the feds, nor his ops. Just a wonderful cut off of Alfredo, too.
Banger.
All right.
Number 4.
Chains and Whips.
The Birds Don't Sing by Clipse. Is my second
Wonderful
Clipse song.
song.
But yeah, talk to me about Chains and Whips, man.
I love it, bro, because when you see like what, you know, Pusha does with Jim Jones on this song, it's fucking savage. It's really savage,
Yeah,
and
it is.
he played into that the entire rollout, bro. Like,
And didn't
he
even
spoke-
say his name on the song.
He
That's
didn't
the
have
best
to,
part. He didn't
right?
need to.
He spoke about the Jim Jones situation in different interviews that he did this year, but this song, it was like, I'm gonna disrespect you so much, the entire world's gonna know that I'm talking to you, but I don't even want to have the liberty of putting your name within my
Yep.
song or my lyrics. You don't even deserve that, bro. And you did a great job at explaining it. The rhyme scheme from Kendrick Lamar off of the feature verse, the way that he did like the Genovese rhyme scheme towards the end of his feature, insane, bro. It stacks up to nostalgia for me, bro. Like it's not as good as nostalgia, nor is it better, but it's hard to live up to that song.
It's not far
It's
off,
like as
though.
if Kendrick Lamar and Kanye wanted to recreate a No More Parties in LA. You'd say to yourself, how is this even fucking possible? Same situation was with Nostalgia, where I looked at the collaboration and I'm like, okay, they're definitely going to, capitalize on this. They definitely have a lot of the same interests in mind at this point in time, but how are they going to replicate the hype and the sort of like nostalgia, no pun intended, that was created back in the early 2010s? They did it here, bro.
Fucking did it, man.
They fucking did it again, bro. And then after that, getting that second verse from Malice, bro, talking about karma and how it's like, you're lucky if it hits you. You're lucky, and God will put you down to your knees. It's a fucked up song. When you really pay attention to all of the lyrics and you go through it, it's so well written. All three rappers were on the same page when creating this, and it's just they synchronized for this, bro.
Best collaboration of the year,
for
in
me,
my
yes.
opinion. And I will say this. It could have been number one. Like, I would not be mad at people having this as their best song of the year. It's one of those. But speaking of Clipse, I want to say this. For anyone that's maybe watching this, and somehow I doubt it, but for anyone, you never know, that's never heard of the Clipse, this is a must-listen song. Basically, you're getting the perspective of two brothers finding out and dealing with the losses of their parents. This is one of those songs that if you've ever lost a loved one, you're going to feel something with this song. And I think that what I take out the most from this is like the lesson of just love and gratitude, bro. Like, cherish all the moments that you have with your loved ones while they're here and while you have the time and the privilege to do so. This is timeless music, bro. Pusha T rapping over the piano and spitting about the moment he found out he lost his mother and then not being able to function and thinking back on like the last conversations that they had. And the line that always cuts deep for me from Pusha's part is, I loved you, met Nige. Hate that he won't remember you. Speaking about how his son won't have a relationship with his mother. And then Malice raps over the same piano bass beat and describes his last encounters with his dad and how a great father he was, not only to him and Push, but also to their friends. Such a powerfully poetic verse with lines like, chivalry ain't dead, you ain't let her go alone. And see, mine made sure he had every base covered. So imagine his pain finding base in the cupboard. Maybe the most emotionally riveting hip-hop song of the decade so far for me. You could really feel their grief, their strength and resilience. The writing's beautiful. Heavenly chorus from John Legend. Nice low-key piano bass instrumental, which gives room for the rapping verses and the special message. And I just love it they even got to perform this at the Vatican, bro. Like, that's how powerful this song is.
So 3 Clipse songs.
I'm gonna have 3 Clipse songs by the end of this, man.
That's what I just picked. I think now we're gonna have a lot of overlapping stuff here. But number 3, bro, this is where I'm gonna have Clouds by J. Cole.
Number 3 is where I have Clouds by J. Cole.
Okay, so there's songs that are better in your opinion. I agree with you, Lou. Like when I was doing the list, I had to bump it down just a tad, bro. But nonetheless, like,
that being said, I do want to say that it is maybe the best exercise in rapping that I witnessed all year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's how I feel about it. As a total package song, including production, hooks, everything, maybe it's not number 1, but I think number 3 is a fair position for it. And it blows my mind the way that he's flowing on this song, bro.
And it feels like he went back to his like mixtape roots with this, where he was sort of rapping in this style that he used to do within the blog era when he was releasing mixtape cuts off of stuff like Friday Night Lights, where he's getting super introspective and he's not holding back, right? You get this super catchy hook with the head to the clouds, line where he's talking about how he needs to like smoke weed for the relief based off of how heavy his thoughts are. And then once he goes into the verses, bro, it gets very dangerous, bro. So in the first verse, I feel like he does a great job at just positioning himself as the father of rap, right? Someone that is explosive, someone that could push a button, C4 beneath your Jeep, those types of lines, asserting his dominance, but also plays as a father of rap and sort of giving, advice to the youth with saying like, work smarter, not harder. Unseen Territories talks about how you have to expand yourself and how you have to always try to push yourself further. Then within the second verse, bro, like there's lines about faith, there's lines about violence, there's lines about critique, like it's really him like getting everything off of his chest within this song, bro, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, man. It's also just, the idea of him feeling like no one's ever too old to chase their own dreams, how he still has objectives on his roadmap that he wants to cross off before it's all said and done. Him talking about like the dangers of AI and how the world around him is changing and becoming less authentic, greed compromising your soul, and so many valuable lessons and messages to take out of this. But at the same time, he's hitting you with these fucking disgusting flows like, please believe these flows teach egos to freeze and then recede. I'm C4 beneath your Jeep the second you turn that keyhole. The multis, the flows. You cannot listen to this fucking song and not tell me that J. Cole is one of the best rappers alive, if not the best rapper
But he
right
does
now.
that while also leaving you with a lesson, right? Because towards the end of the song, you get a sort of a sense that J. Cole is happy with himself aging and that there's purpose that comes with aging and that that's his entire mantra right now, right?
Yep.
Because he often references the gray hairs that he's growing, but he says, like, it's not a sentence, bro. Like, this is something I'm proud of. I'm proud of it. And nonetheless, I'm going to grow as a poet within my aging process, and it plays into the sort of state that he's in his career right now. It shows incredible growth from J. Cole. It gets me hyped for the fall off, and I'm here to see it, brother.
Absolutely.
I am here to see it.
Fall off time, baby. Let's go.
Number
two on the list. This is where I have Ensalada by Freddie Gibbs.
This is where I have
The Alchemist.
So Be It by Clipse, bro. So Be It by Clipse, man. It's the anthem. It's the anthem of the year for me. It was one that I was impressed as soon as I heard it. And as soon as I heard it, everything from the Middle Eastern sample that Pharrell provided to like the hazy atmosphere of it. And it plays into like Clipse's villain arc, bro, because that was kind of where the album was heading, like theme-wise, right? It's them saying, fuck everyone, we don't care what you think, we're gonna check everyone throughout this process. And Travis Scott was the guy that got the straight with this, right? The Utopia lines and talking about Kylie Jenner, the TMZ stuff. And it's interesting because they're also unapologetic within this process, and it sort of plays into the so be it line, where I don't give a fuck, bro. If you look at me as a villain, if you look at me as someone that's malicious, I'm going to check people because that's my mission on earth as a rapper. And it plays into what Clipse is supposed to be. They've been doing it since the mid-2000s. So I know you're going to speak about it very soon, but...
Am I? I don't know.
No, you're going to speak about it. If you didn't... I know you.
FICO. Mike Tyson blow to the face.
Yeah, get the fuck out of here.
There's other songs, but number two, Ensalada, Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. This is the best song by far on Alfredo 2. Perfect song to me. Peak rapping, peak production. I remember listening to this in our live stream, and I literally got goosebumps just because I'm like, wow, this is that feeling, bro, of the hip hop that I grew up loving.
Listening to, yeah.
Freddie's going the fuck off. He's describing the hard truths of what it's really like to be a pusher in the streets, and I feel like he channeled that old version of himself, bro. And I just love how much immense lyrical detail there is throughout it. Him rapping about like the pains in his stomach when he was in the streets hustling. Him rapping about like waking up in cold sweats. Lines like, you ever had to work the dope line, seen your homie mom stand in the line for this shit. Incredible. The flow switches are seamless all throughout the song. The beat from Alchemist is bananas.
Yeah, incredible,
It's insane. From the piano melody to the light guitar strings, the kicks, the snares. Such a majestic beat. Haunting but peaceful at the same time. And then you're having Anderson .Paak come in and he just grounds the song in this relaxed, soulful type of space. Playing into the theme of the song. And great background harmonies. Great, beautiful, pain-filled vocals. And yeah, I just think that it's the epitome of what hip-hop should be and what it always should be. You know, it has the heart, the soul of it, everything you could expect. But
yeah,
honorable mentions. Let's go.
Honorable mentions. I have Pour the Henny by Nas and, the entire Mobb Deep crew. I found that to be an incredible song. Lemon Ginger by My Name Isn't J-Mac. That was a song that I initially had off of my top end of the year list so far back in the month of July. Didn't make the cut. The Birds Don't Sing, bro. That was a song that didn't make it, unfortunately, but regardless, though, one of the best cuts from this entire year. Skinny Sugar Part 2, that was another song that I was heavily considering. On McAfee by Jid was another one that I was considering. But nonetheless, what do you have, Lou?
Oh, I got a list. Waterproof Mascara, Billy Woods. Mike Tyson, Blow to the Face, Clipse. POV by Clipse. FICO by Clipse. I Might Be by Wiz Khalifa featuring La Russell. How to Impress God by Saba. Mar-a-Lago by Freddie Gibbs. Of Blue by Jid. All the Joey Badass diss tracks I thought were really solid. Funny Papers by Mac Miller, Don't Say Me, John Michelle and Anthony James, Stick and the song Father by Jim Legacy, Run 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 Part 2 by McKinley Dixon, The Problem and Letters by Chance the Rapper. But your number one is Ensalada by Freddie Gibbs and The Alchemist. My number one is So Be It by Clipse. We had them inverted. I kind of expected to see that.
Yeah, we always have that though. I think that's always a common tradition. Is like we know what the best songs of the year are, but there's certain placements that we don't agree on. Regardless, though, these are the top two songs of the year. I feel comfortable with my So Be It placement, and I'm confident with my Ensalada placement. It's just it's interesting because like overall like you're getting like this gloomy street confession from Freddie over like these warm textures that The Alchemist puts into it. So I found it to be like this sort of contrast in the song that I always love from an artist. Whenever you get like a brighter production with like low-key darker lyrics that talk about darker subject matter, it always makes for a perfect recipe. And you know, it's interesting because Anderson gets super deep and personal on this hook, bro. It's not a generic just, oh, let me fill this in type of hook. No, like, he's asking God to take him away from this godforsaken place because he can't handle the pain anymore. Mm-hmm. And I find that to be just riveting, bro, as far as a song concept goes. And then, you know, all of, like, the homicide and, like, obituary, like, content matter from Freddie Gibbs throughout the song. It's a perfect record, bro.
Let me ask you this, though, because I feel like maybe it was some time ago, but at one point you had Mar-a-Lago as like your song off of Alfredo,
bro.
too.
These past like 2-3 months have been heavy, bro.
On Ensalada,
yeah. Like really revisiting it and really going back to it. It's definitely the one. It's one of the best songs of the entire year and
one of the best songs of the 2020s
for sure, bro. And even like the Anderson, like Gangsta's Turn to Angels, bro, and like wanting to see his kids more happy, bro. And like not like tie into like all the things that come with fame, like endless women, you know, and then he's even hinting at fatherhood.
Yeah.
The Anderson feature is really like,
yeah, no, for sure.
It's really fucking top tier, bro.
It's insane.
Of course, the entire point of the song is like Ensalada ties into like It's a Lotta and like the way that they play into that, like that wordplay and the fact that they made it the entire song, ridiculous, bro.
So Be It by Clipse, one of the best Clipse songs ever to me. The chemistry between the brothers,
I think it is their best song
immaculate,
ever,
bro. The climactic ending, the wordplay, the dark feeling that this song emits, it just puts you in a zone. And I love how Pusha T attacks this song, coming in with this vicious, slow but calculated flow, and hits you with bars like, "Cause guys that I'm like." Because guys that I'm with like to draw when it's sketchy. The double entendre on that, amazing. And then Malice shares the same killer flow and hits us with punchline after punchline. And then obviously one of those other songs where Pusha T steals the show, in my opinion, where he kind of sounds like a Batman villain speaking directly to Travis Scott Soul on here and sort of making him seem soft. He's painting him as this soft guy. Also, what really won me over is the production of this song, what Pharrell was able to do here. And I've been pretty critical of Pharrell's production in the 2020s decade, feeling like a lot of his beats kind of sounding stale, kind of sounding like they were trying to be too mainstream. But what he did here with the reversed 808s, with that Saudi sample from the 1970s and those eccentric strings that he brought in, mind-blowing stuff. Can't name another beat like this in 2025. And what's crazy, too, is this the idea of that sound effect of the big sniff being brought in. I thought that was so fitting for this song, too. And it's a song that bangs in the car, has incredible substance, and really stunned me, bro. Like, this was sort of the beginning of the rollout. And as time has gone on, I've just grown more and more appreciation for it. And Song of the Year for me. This is the first year that since we've been doing this that I've had 3 songs from one album on a list, bro. Like, I feel like Clipse, that's my takeaway from my own list. Clipse made really some of the best fucking music of the year, bro. Like, they were on a roll.
What they accomplished this year is fucking incredible. From, you know, Pusha T being so villainous and kind of calling out everyone, and then Malice, like, playing into those themes, but him kind of taking a different direction with the writing where, you know, he's questioning people's faith. And, like, that was something else that I liked about his verse on So Be It is he's calling out people for like being like fake religious to a certain extent, right? Like claiming God did, but did he really, you know? Like, are you really buying into like redemption and faith and like being a student, you know? And I find that to be incredible from him. And like you said, Pharrell came through and provided some of the best production that I've heard all year. So That's going to wrap it up, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our top 10 rap songs of 2025. It's been a fucking honor to do this with you guys this year. It's incredible to see the platform still living on and you guys coming in and giving your takes, sharing similar tastes in music. We love you guys so much. And guys, we'll see you on the next one. Peace.